So hello everyone, I am Mrs. Archana Priyadashini, Assistant Professor in Department of ISC, Canberra Engineering College. So in this presentation, we will look in a depth view about converse, inverse of conditional as well as contrapositive. Let's see some of the variations in the problems and let's solve more problems in this particular presentation. Over to the presentations. So first of all, let me discuss about what is a converse. So as you know, a conditional can be told as it's in the form of P implies Q. So where P is the hypothesis and Q represents the conclusion. So given a conditional P implies Q, its converse can be told as Q implies P. So Q implies P is the converse of the conditional P implies Q. Similarly, going to the inverse or the opposite of P implies Q is nothing but negation P implies negation Q. So that is called as the inverse of the conditional P implies Q. And the contrapositive is stated as the negation Q implies negation P. So this is the contrapositive of the conditional. And by having, we know some important results, that is conditional and contrapositive, they are logically equivalent. That means P implies Q is logically equivalent to negation Q implies negation P. Conditional and its contrapositive are logically equivalent. Likewise, converse and inverse are logically equivalent. Or in other words, Q implies P is logically equivalent to negation P implies negation Q. So we know this fact. So let's consider an example. So here we have taken two propositions, proposition P and Q, where proposition P states 2 is an integer and Q is 9 is a multiple of 3. So let's convert into converse, inverse and contrapositive. So looking into the conditional. So let's say what is P implies Q first and then decide about converse, inverse and contrapositive. So whenever we say a conditional P implies Q, it can be written as if 2 is an integer, then 9 is a multiple of 3. So this is a conditional P implies Q. So what will be the converse of this conditional? So converse is indicated by Q implies P, or in words, if 9 is a multiple of 3, then 2 is an integer. So coming to the inverse. So inverse is stated as negation P implies negation Q. So inverse, if we demonstrate this, we get if 2 is not an integer, then 9 is not a multiple of 3. Likewise, while we say about contrapositive, contrapositive is stated as negation Q implies negation P. So in words, if we write this negation Q implies negation P, we get if 9 is not a multiple of 3, then 2 is not an integer. So this is how we can write the converse, inverse and contrapositive given the conditional P implies Q. So next, talking about the two terms, that is implicative statements or what we call as hypothetical statements. So as we know, as we've seen what is a converse, inverse and contrapositive. Okay, sometimes when we take the conditionals P implies Q, there are some ways in which P and Q are related in some way. That is, maybe the truth value of Q depends upon the truth value of P, okay, or maybe the truth value of P depends upon the truth value of Q. So in some relation, P and Q are related. So such conditionals are called as hypothetical or implicative statements. Okay, so wherein the truth value of each one of them is dependent upon the truth value of the other proposition, or truth value of hypothesis is dependent upon the conclusion, or truth value of conclusion is dependent upon the hypothesis. So such conditionals are called hypothetical or implicative statements. So coming to the next concept, that is, when do we say logically implies? So whenever we consider a hypothetical statement, so that means the truth value of one of them, truth value of hypothesis depend upon the conclusion, or truth value of conclusion is depend upon the hypothesis. So whenever we take an hypothetical statement, let's say P implies Q, and this P implies Q is such that Q is true. Whenever P is true, then we say that P logically implies Q. So we write it symbolically as P logically implies Q. So the symbol arrow is used to denote the word implies. So, whenever a hypothetical statement P implies Q is such that Q is not necessarily true when P is true, we say that P does not imply Q. Okay, so these are the different terms that we are using in the particular presentation. So, let's take this question, right? The contrapositive of P implies Q implies R with no occurrence of connective and one occurrence of connective implies. So that is, we have to first of all write this condition in terms of contrapositive. So conditional P implies Q implies R. Contrapositive is given by negation of Q implies R implies negation P. That is its contrapositive. We start from the contrapositive and start solving, simplifying it using laws or certain other laws of condition. So what we get is, we get this as a contrapositive, that is negation Q implies R implies negation P. Then we can write this condition. So negation of Q implies R implies negation P. This is equivalent to taking it in the form of P implies Q condition. So what is P implies Q? P implies Q is nothing but negation P or Q. So we write it in the same manner. It is negation P or Q. So negation of negation Q implies R or negation P. So this is how we can write. So we are taking negation of Q implies R as, let's take it as P, uh, and then negation P as Q. So this condition is in the form of P implies Q. So this is equivalent to negation P or Q. So negation of negation Q implies R or negation Q. So what will be negation of negation Q implies R? So it is law of double negation. So we are getting Q implies R in the next step. Q implies R or negation P. So we have solved the first objective. That is, we have solved second object. That is, we are getting the answer in the form of one occurrence of the connective implies. So in the first question, we need to get it in the form such a way that there are no connectives of implies. So how can we solve implication? We know that any conditional P implies Q is in the form of negation P or Q. So in this way we can avoid the implication symbol. So Q implies R again can be simplified into negation Q or R or negation P. So this is nothing but that we are solving it using conditional, and we have reached the objective of getting no connectives of implication. So next, see the second question, that is, we need to prove whether the left hand side logically implies the right hand side. That means, as you know, the rule of logical implies, it means that whenever left hand side is true, right hand side has to be true. That is, we are taking a hypothetical statement P implies Q, and P implies Q is such that Q is true whenever P is true. That means whenever, if we take P as true, that is on the left hand side, if we take as whenever left hand side is true, then we can say, then we if we find that Q also is true, that is if the right hand side is also true, then we say it as P logically implies Q. Okay, or left hand side logical implies Q. So when we can say left hand side logical implies right hand side is whenever we find in the hypothetical statement left hand side is true, and during that time, if the right hand side is found to be true, then we say that left hand side logically implies right hand side. Or in terms of conditional, if you want to say P implies Q, is it is in such a way that Q is true whenever P is true, then we say that P logically implies Q. So in order to prove this result, let's construct the truth table with respective columns P, Q, R, and construct few more columns as per the question. That is, P implies Q, and we need to have extra column for P conjunction P implies Q conjunction R, and then P or Q, then finally P or Q implies R, and then we need to match the left hand side. And see that whenever left hand side is true, right hand side is also true. So we have constructed 8 rows for 3 different primitives PQR. So all possible combinations of the propositions 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1 and so on. So then we know how to construct what is P implies Q. We know P implies Q is false only when P is true and Q is false. That is there in the two rows. The fifth and the sixth row you can observe the result is 0 for P implies Q. And then P conjunction P implies Q conjunction R. So when we can say this conjunction is true, when P is true, P implies Q is true as well as R is true. So that is happening only in the last row. If you just observe, then we are going to construct P or Q. It is a half portion of the right hand side, P or Q. So P or Q is true when either P is true or Q is true, or when both of them are true. So except the first two rows, you can observe all of the rows have the truth value 1 for the column P or Q. And then constructing the right hand side, complete portion of the right hand side, P or Q implies R. So for P or Q implies R, we know that there is an implication condition, and this implies is false only when P or Q is true and R is false. Okay. So the respective values are inserted in the rows of P or Q implies R. So now we have to tally the left hand side, that is P and P conjunction P implies Q conjunction R. So we have to tally this uh, when this has got truth value 1. So you can observe this particular column has got truth value 1 only in the last row, and whenever this last row has got truth value 1, we need to check whether the right hand side, that is P or Q implies R, has also the truth value 1. Yes, we observe the right hand side also has got truth value 1. So I am telling right hand side as your in the question you can observe P or Q implies R, right, in the right hand side. That is your right hand side, and your left hand side is P and P conjunction P implies Q conjunction R. So we are going to check these two. And since we find that whenever the left hand side has got truth value 1, then the right hand side also has got truth value 1. Then we say the left hand side, that is P conjunction P implies Q conjunction R, logically implies P or Q implies R. So these are the possible questions you may get in the university papers. Let's take a particular problem related to inverse, converse and counterpositive. So as discussed in the presentations, I have told in detail what is converse, what is inverse and what is counterpositive, right? So let's brush up those terms before solving this particular problem. So we are given a problem, that is we need to find out the counterpositive of this conditional statement with only one occurrence of the connective implies, okay, and as well as there should not be any connective of implication in the result. So first of all we need to write down the counterpositive of this. So let me repeat what is inverse, what is converse, what is counterpositive. So let's say we have a conditional called P implies Q, and for this conditional P implies Q, the counterpositive of this conditional P implies Q is nothing but negation Q implies negation P. And the converse of P implies Q is Q implies P. Whereas the inverse of P implies Q is negation P implies negation Q. So this is the inverse, this is the converse of the conditional, this is the contrapositive of the conditional. And we have also seen in the presentations that the conditional and contrapositive are logically equivalent. That means these two have the same values for all the possible combinations of the propositions, right? So conditional and contrapositive are logically equivalent. Similarly, converse and inverse are logically equivalent. We have seen these truth in the presentations. So coming to the problem, so let's write down this in terms of contrapositive. So given P implies Q implies R, we can say that this is logically equivalent to, see, the conditional and contrapositive are logically equivalent. So I am writing they are logically equivalent to negation Q. So let's take this as Q. Okay, this is equivalent to negation Q. What is Q here? Q implies R. So negation Q implies And what is P? Negation P. Okay. So now, after writing this, so this is a form of contrapositive. You can also mention in the line. So it is a contrapositive of the conditional. Next, I can say consider this to be P. I can consider this to be Q. So whenever we have this looks like some form of P implies Q. What is P implies Q? Logical equivalent to negation P or Q, right? So you can just mention this in the side work, that is right hand side, some rough work. So P implies Q is negation P or Q. But what is P? P is negation of Q implies R. But what we have to write? Negation P, right? Negation of this whole term. So negation of Q implies R. Negation P. Or what is Q here? Negation P. Correct? Q is negation P. So now let's simplify this term. We can also mention this is law of conditional. This is a conditional law, right? Next, further simplify this term. So before simplification, we have to check what we have to arrive at. For example, we need to have only one occurrence of the connective implies. Okay, and no occurrence of the connective implies. So first let's solve this one. So this is double negation, right? We have the law double negation it's equivalent to the same proposition. So we are arriving at this particular line after solving this connective of double negation. So let me say this is a law of double negation. Law of double negation. So now, see, we have solved the result for the first question. That is, only one occurrence of connective must be there. So in this, yes, only one occurrence of connective is there in this particular line, right? They have not mentioned about whether other connectives have to be there or not. But at the most, this symbol, for this symbol there should be only one occurrence. That is, we have got only one kind of implication, right? Next, in the next sub question, we have seen that we should not have any occurrence of the connective implies. That is, I need to solve this in order to avoid this kind of implication symbol in the further connective. So this is the answer for the first sub question. There is one occurrence of implication, and in the second sub question we should not have any occurrence of this. So let's solve this kind of implication symbol. So this I can take it as P, this I can take it as Q. So P implies Q will be negation P or Q. So what is P here? Negation P or Q. What is in place of Q? R. Negation P or Q. So there is no occurrence of implication you can observe. So this is the answer for the second sub question. So I can say this is nothing but the law of conditional. Okay. So I think this is clear to you. So following next, let's see how we can prove this kind of statement. So first of all, we are given P or Q or R and negation Q. So this entire term must be logically equal. It's not logically equivalent. It is logically implies P or R. So before discussing this thing, that is logically implies. So this is like this symbol tells us logically implies. Okay. Whereas this is logically equivalent. This is logically implies this symbol. So you must be very clear about these symbols. Okay. Before starting to solve this particular problem, let me brush up the terms, that is hypothetical statements. What are hypothetical statements? Okay. So let's say we have a conditional called P implies Q, and the truth value of Q depends upon the truth value of P. So those statements are called as hypothetical statements. So wherein the truth value of Q depends upon the truth value of P. Okay. And coming to the next term, that is logically implies. So whenever we have got such a hypothetical statement wherein the truth value of Q depends upon truth value of P, and in this hypothetical statement, if Q is true, whenever P is true, then we can say P logically implies Q. So that is a term called logically implies. So if we need to check whenever P is true, do we have Q as true? Okay, whenever P is true, do we have Q as true? So if so, then we can say P logically implies Q. The same thing is written as statements over here. So in a particular hypothetical statement, if Q is true whenever P is true, then we can say P logically implies Q. Okay, this is the symbol for logically implies, this symbol. So now let's prove this result. That is, we need to check whenever this term has the truth value true, this right hand side P or R is also true. We need to check this particular condition. So whenever we have got this entire left hand side truth value as 1, do we have P or R as true? That is what we need to check. Okay, so if so, then we say that P or Q or R and negation Q logically implies P or R. So for this, let's construct a truth table. So you can observe how many propositions are there. There are 3 propositions, P, Q, R. So let's construct the truth table corresponding to the respective columns. Right, so we have got 3 propositions, so 2 cube, that is 8 rows. Write all possible combinations for this. So you can check after writing all the truth values. See, there should be 8 rows totally, and you need to write all the different combinations. You can observe here in the left hand side you have got Q or R. You can write this together or write it as a separate component, but since I have got or itself, or as a connective, I am writing it all together because I know I can write it easily. Okay, so P or Q or, that is or of all these 3 columns, or of these 3 columns in each of the rows. What is 0 or 0 or 0? It is 0. What is 0 or 1? It is 1. Right? Like that, if I continue for all the rows, I will get at this result. Next, this component is over. Next, we shall include this column over here. So what is negation Q? That is, you are making 0 as 1 as well as 1 as 0. So 1 is turned to 0, 0 is turned to 1, 1 is turned to 0. Next, coming to conjunction of these 2 terms. So let's include conjunction of these 2 terms, that is P or Q or R and negation Q. So conjunction of this term, conjunction of these 2 columns. What is conjunction of these 2 columns? Is it 0, 1, 0, 1 as well as 0. So next we have to include this column P or R. So what is P or R? P or R, it is 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. So now after writing all the columns, we need to check this left hand side that is present over here, right, in this particular column. Check here here you can see all the combinations of zeros and ones, but we need to consider only for truth value as 1. That is, check whether in this particular row we have got 1, right? So in the corresponding column, in the corresponding rows also, do we have 1? for the right hand side. So this is our right hand side. We need to check this column with this column. Okay, whenever we have got 1, do we have 1 over here? Yes. So next, comparing for the next one. Okay, do we have 1 over here? That is, whenever this is true, do we have this as true? So next we can check for this row itself. Yeah. Yes. So whenever this left hand side is true, we have the right hand side also as true. So therefore we can say the left hand side, that is, what is there in the left hand side? P or Q or R, and negation Q, okay, logically implies P or R. So we can say this logically implies P or R. That is, whenever this term is true, this is also true. Clear?